We're all games journalists now, and it's time we embraced that. But you don't do journalism, do you? You just write a silly point about games every now and then on the internet. Well, let me tell you about a little website called Polygon. Or maybe even Rock Paper Shotgun. Hell, Kotaku may have just stolen one of your comments to base an article on. Have you ever caught wind of something new in gaming and rephrased what you heard to your friends? In video game journalism, that is called reporting the news. Have you ever had a drinking buddy at a pub who was very passionate about something? They fed you a pretentious bullshit sales pitch, but you couldn't help but just pass it along. They asked you to. You don't want them to know that you were just nodding your head to try to get them to stop talking. You feel obliged. That's called a review. Has anything ever hurt your feelings and left you feeling like you need to get back at whoever's responsible by any means necessary? That is called critique. Have you ever felt like there are some opinions you can't share, some points you can't make, some issues you can't expose just in case you step on the wrong toes? That is called a sustainable business model. Have you ever formed a network of like-minded people to find support in, to get advice from, to mull things over with? People who you would not snitch on, even if you really should. People who would ostracize you if you did. They're your friends. But friends who sometimes try to tell you what to do. In the games journalism business, that's called just a mailing list. Have you ever exposed corruption? No, I'm just kidding. That's not something games journalists do. They will, however, tell you that you should be really concerned with AAA publishers and developers and games journalists. But I'd say that is a job for hardcore or real journalists, as they're known outside of the hobby. Because, you see, in journalism, games is a modifier to journalist, like casual is a modifier to gamer. It tells you that this person kind of plays at it, but is not a true enthusiast. Anyone who has tweeted, "I like video games," is a games journalist, and more or less in the same tier as any other games journalist. Some get lucky and make a few bucks, others evolve and become journalists who report on gaming. A subtle but key difference. These are the true professionals. They are the ones who make money off of their journalism, rather than just writing clickbait headlines. You can also expect them to occasionally say something that might be true. They're the ones who report on gaming, the multi-billion-dollar industry, rather than the people who tell you about themselves through the lens of the multi-billion-dollar industry. Not to say there's anything wrong with that, but it's something everyone does. Like I said, we're all games journalists really, but sometimes it goes way too far, and we start demanding things, we start lying, we start affecting other people negatively. We need a friend to step in and give us some tough love, a wake-up call. This is what should happen when a games journalist has an audience and starts lying to or manipulating them. A hardcore journalist should step in and give them a slap, or at least one of their peers should tell them off if they're being a bit of a prima donna, and if they're abusing their audience on behalf of someone else, say a publisher or developer. If you are a real journalist and you can expose that, you have the resources, and you can publish a piece exposing that. I know a whole bunch of folks who like to use a certain hashtag who would read and share the hell out of your articles. Now this is really a rant. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent. Let me just clarify what I'm saying. Games journalists don't have to be your ideological allies. They don't have to be a source you trust. They don't have to be respected. Thanks to social media and how easy it is to get a platform, games journalists aren't just extremist progressives anymore. Anyone can be a games journalist. Games journalists are over, and that is why they are so angry. But, as usual, that is just another one of my harmful opinions.